Yo, how's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you. We got match 2 here of the case tournament that we just played in this past Saturday. And we got a matchup against my man Corey here. He's got that beautiful Altar Katakuri already. Made me want to cry a little bit inside because I've been looking for that card. And if you guys saw the box openings recently, you saw that we got a couple of Altar leaders, but we did not, unfortunately, pull the Katakuri. I will hopefully get it in the near future, but you know, we're working on it. My man keeps banging the table, so the camera's shaking a little bit, but here we are. Yeah, and I think this is one of the more interesting matchups. Zoro versus Katakuri. I really feel like this can be quite a toss-up. You know, Katakuri getting to that late stage of the game, having like 10 drop Big Mom or 7 drop Big Mom down, and then using Thunderbolt to get rid of, you know, the Marco blocker can really, you know, honestly be game winning. And my opponent rolls an 11 again. I think I won like 1 dice roll all day today, which was kind of sad. But he chooses to go second, which is smart, you know. Definitely the play in this matchup. But for me, I think we draw into some decent stuff. I do end up bottom decking it though, and you know, just or not bottom decking, mulliganing it. And I think I had like 2 buggies, a Radical Beam, and like a 9 drop, which, you know, it's not the worst start ever, but I definitely wanted to find something that I could start getting some bodies on board. You know, get those early curly Dodons, Ezos, find that 5 drop Marco a little easier. I only ran 3 Whitebeard Pirate searching event cards in this deck, so I knew that going with the buggy would be a bit of a gamble, but I chose to go with a mulligan, and I think if I looked correctly, I think I like it. We got the Ezo. There was a 4 drop blocker. Yeah, this was kind of a weird hand. I ended up picking up weird search. We got 2 Whitebeard Pirates and a 9 drop, as well as like I think it was like 2 of one other card. So we ended up bottom decking some pretty useful stuff right there. But yeah, I think we got Whitebeard Pirates, a 4 drop Marco, and a buggy, as well as a Radical Beam. But we're just going to go ahead and use that Whitebeard Pirates. Search out the Atmos. Atmos plays super well into a lot of matchups. This one, not like crazy. You know, it's not the craziest thing in the world, but it's definitely not bad. He picks up the Charlotte Brulee blocker right here. And next turn we do have the 5 drop Marco to play, but my opponent's got Sanji already on board for some card draw. He can swing pretty heavy with Katakuri as well, so he is going to use that Sanji card draw. I'm thinking of what I want to counter out with. Atmos is looking pretty appealing right now, and we are just going to use it. Just because I don't have a ton of practice with that card in this matchup. I don't know if it's something I really want to be putting down versus, you know, trying to create a little bit wider of a board. But we're just going to rest 5. I'm going to pop that, swing 5 at Sanji. Now, will he save it? No, he's just going to let it go. Straight to the trash with you. And now he's up to 6 Dawn. We're getting up to that 8 Dawn sweet spot for Katakuri, where 7 drop becomes a reality and is a little scary. And you know, during this turn, a lot of the times, this is what I'll usually see is like a Searcher as well as Leader ability into a 4 drop. But it looks as though he's considering doing that. He might just do like a Leader ability and then a Sparrow or something, and, you know, use the other 2 Dawn, or maybe save it for Ikaku Sovereignty. But I do choose to take the life going down to 3. There goes that Sparrow, and he's just going to pass, leaving 2 open. I love having the Marco on board right now, just because it gives us a little bit of, you know, I would say early / mid-game swings. I really want to put down one of the Marcos just so that I have it for when I go down to 2 life. But I always do got to be a little weary of my opponent potentially having Thunderbolt early on. It can be kind of rough. And yeah, I see the Makino. We could potentially pump up the Izo if we wanted to as well. But I am just going to choose to swing for 5 with Izo, leaving 4 open for the moment. And he will take. He's going to get Brûlé yet again. Pretty dang good. You know, 2 Brûlé triggers. Not bad at all. But we'll just go 6 with lead. He's going to counter for 2 and then 7. He's going to use Ikaku's Sovereignty, and I'll go ahead and play the 4-drop Marco. Now, I know, yet again, Thunderbolt can be a thing, but we've got him, you know, down to 3 life already. If he's feeling pretty confident to go down to 2, makes me feel like he's going to have the 10-drop the next turn, and I could be pretty aggressive and get him down to at least, like, 1 life, maybe nothing afterwards by popping the Brûlé and then going forward. So he is considering that Thunderbolt pretty heavily right now. You can see he's kind of got his eye on it. And, yeah, leader ability. Oh, no, excuse me. He's going to swing 8 into my Marco here. I believe I'm just going to let it die and maybe trash the guard point. And it looks as though that's what we're going to do. Yeah, just get rid of guard point here. It's not like it's going to be super necessary. And he will look at his life, put it down to the bottom. And I'll counter out of the 7k swing with Makino. But he chooses to play Cracker. And, you know, just get another body on board. Be a little scary. But what are we up to here? We're going first, so we're at 9. This could be 9-drop, but I don't think we have it at the moment. I do choose to take the Dawn off. Wait, do we have it? I don't think I do, but I could be wrong. I kind of want to get rid of the Parasparrow, but at the same time, if he doesn't have 10-drop, it feels kind of bad, you know, swinging at it and potentially giving him the search for that card next turn. And Buggy's going to give that Radical Beam. Radical is so useful in this matchup. It's like pretty much free real estate having having that card. But I'll choose to go 5 at Parasparrow here. And he will just 1k counter out with Shirahoshi. I'm just trying to burn resources from his hand. Kind of want to get him down to a low enough point that when he plays 10-drop, he's not going to feel as good. But let's get rid of the Parasparrow, and he does have a couple of searches. He's going to pick up this Smoothie here. And Smoothie, 1k counter, but not going to be super useful this late in the game. I'm okay with that, and knowing that he has a 1k counter. But I choose to swing with Marco as well, and he'll counter out with 2 Crackers right there. So we've got our opponent down to like, I think like 4 or 5 cards in hand. Feeling pretty good about that. Still saving 1 open for the Radical Beam as well. We've got a really well developed board at the moment. And here comes 10-drop. I will trash, unfortunately, a Makino. Love those 2k counters as well as the potential swings on board. So I'm a little upset, you know. Not much you can do there. But I think he's going 5 at Marco here. So I will just counter for 7. And then he'll go 5 at Marco again. We'll counter out. I want to have the Marcos. They're super important at this stage in the game. Like for me, for him having 10-drop Big Mom, you know, I'm going to have to kind of play around that and use the Marcos as, you know, honestly, as smart as I can possibly get them. And like, it's going to be a weird situation. But it does kind of suck that we had to get rid of 2 2Ks to protect it. I didn't have any Whitebeard cards that were worth trashing that were non-counter. So, not the greatest feeling, but at the same time, we just kind of have to do what we got to do. We don't have any big bodies on board just yet. So, I'll go 5 at the Cracker. He will counter out of this. Which is pretty smart because he's stalling on the swings that could potentially go to his life. But I'll swing 5 again, and he'll just let it go this time. And now, I know we're going to save 1 Dawn for Radical Beam for sure. But I do choose to swing with the Marco. It's pretty aggressive. That is pretty aggressive. Not just, you know, I don't know. Not leaving both of them open. I think that this was a match that I got a little confident knowing that my opponent, and then I see the Smoothie, and Smoothie doesn't feel that great to see in this exact moment, but we got him down to 1 life, and he uses Thunderbolt, and I was like, well, you know, we're in a match, I'm not really going to say much, but he didn't use it on the active Marco, which I was shocked by. So use Thunderbolt and I have 2 life left. Used Thunderbolt, didn't use it on the active Marco, just the rested Marco, and so I trash the other one from my hand just to bring it back up. But that could have been like a potential game-winning moment that we were talking about after this match right there. And he does pick up 7 drop from the Pudding Search. So he does still have 9 Dawn left, but he is going to Pudding Search once again. And so now, in my mind, I'm actually pretty happy about this, because if he chooses to play 7 drop, then I know for sure that he can't have Ikkaku Sovereignty in hand, because he would only have 1 Dawn remaining. And yeah, we bounced some ideas off of one another after this, and he chooses to go with the, you know, Lin. I'm going to trash a card, and it happens to be a Radical Beam. I'm not really quite sure why the camera just rotated right there, but I think maybe one of us hit the table or something. But the Radical Beam is such a bummer to lose right off the top of life, especially when I left all of this Dawn open. Like when he played Smoothie, it actually, like, or when he got Smoothie and the Thunderbolt out of hand, it really changed how I was going to play, because I was going to put down another Marco to have 2 for a block. And I think that, you know, with the triggers, he potentially had win, as well as Thunderbolt in hand here. So I will Radical Beam out of that I think it was a 5k swing at the Marco. I'm not entirely sure why I decided to go for, well, actually I know why, because he didn't have any Dawn left. Yeah, he didn't have any Dawn left, so I was like, okay, I don't have anything that I need to be weary of now. But he'll go 7 at life, I will take, and then he just has to swing with 12 drop. And no matter where he swings with 12 drop, you know, I'm just bringing back you know, the Marco. But yeah, he was like, man, I think I messed this turn up. I should have done this a little bit differently. And since we were like pretty far into the turn, there wasn't really much you know, that could be done at that point. But definitely a lesson learned, because I would have just swung with the rest there and taken the game. But yeah, the Thunderbolt on that Marco at the very end out of his life would have been huge. And or on my active Marco, excuse me. And then on top of that, just the Thunderbolt in hand to be able to get rid of, you know, the Marco that I would have played afterwards, so that I had an active. I mean, it just would have been brutal. Well, I would have been at 2 life, but still, he had plenty of swings to get through. And I guess arguably, no, never mind. I was going to say arguably I could have had 2 Radical Beams, because I would have not trashed the second life. But I wouldn't have had a second Dawn to be able to use that. I would have only had 1 Dawn active for the Radical Beam I already had in hand. Yeah, but this one, this one I actually feel like I kind of skated by on the win here, because, you know, my opponent definitely had, I think he definitely had the win if there was the correct usage of both Thunderbolts in life and hand there. But either way, you love to see this matchup. I think Katakuri and Zoro is going to be pretty polarizing in the future. But I hope you guys enjoyed. And, you know, as always, leave your thoughts down below. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.